Hey fellow tennis nerds, I hope all is well. Two new Dunlop rackets here, the SX300 and the SX300 Tour. The SX series is Dunlop's spin line, so it competes with the Aero line from Dunlop, the Extreme line from Head, or the V-Core line from Yonex. And they have changed some of the specs. They have made them slightly stiffer and the swing weights are slightly lower, which is a good thing. And one of the best things is that they've made the Tour version into a 98. So it now competes with the V-Core 98 or the Extreme Tour or the Dunlop Pure Aero VS. And the 98 of this one is actually my favorite of these two rackets. Really like the whippiness of the new SX300 Tour, and it will compete really well against the Pure Aero VS and the V-Core 98 and the Extreme Tour. As I said, I like all those rackets. This one has now a higher stiffness. I think it was one way to compensate for the reduced swing weight. Swing weight adds power, and the previous edition that I reviewed some 2 years back, I think, they had pretty high swing weights, surprisingly so, and many players don't really like a high swing weight. It becomes quite sluggish and difficult to maneuver, especially when you're tired. So the lower swing weight overall I think helps, and it has a swing weight of 327. So I think that's a pretty good swing weight for a Tour racket. If you want a higher swing weight, you can always add some weight to the head and customize it. It's sensible to have a lower swing weight in stock form, I think. So 327 for a Tour frame, thumbs up for me. Really enjoy this one. Much whippier than the previous SX line, which was higher, which had a bigger head size, higher swing weight. This one feels ultra fast. You can really whip up some racket head speed, generate loads of spin with this. Not as forgiving as the 100 square inch 300 here, but definitely more fun to use. I prefer this one. It really whippy, good power, good spin. Didn't notice any issues with comfort, and just a nice playing frame. Control is not the best, obviously. This is not a control frame. It is a powerful 98, very spin oriented, pretty open pattern, so you need to put some topspin on the ball. For flatter swings, these are not the rackets for you. You should not go for the SX line if you play really flat. In my opinion, some might disagree and say that if you have a flat stroke, these rackets will give you a little bit higher launch angle over the net, but I think sometimes you can get really frustrated that the ball sails a bit. So you have to know yourself a bit and see if you need help over the net, or if you're feeling like you want pinpoint precision, because your flatter strokes will have less margin. So it's a little bit up to you, but that's my general take on the matter. Comes with the spin boost grommets to increase spin movement. Pretty aerodynamic design here with the V shaft, as they call it, the V energy shaft here, is to create a more aerodynamic properties. Not sure if that does anything or not, but this racket is extremely whippy, very fast through the air, and will appeal to aggressive topspin players, advanced aggressive topspin players who can generate loads of racket head speed and get the ball to dip in thanks to their massive topspin. So good racket, really like it. These are my first impressions, and I've enjoyed it so far, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. I would prefer a little bit of a tighter pattern myself, and I'm not the super topspin player. But if you are, I'm sure you'll like these frames, especially the SX300 Tour. The SX300 is competing with the Pure Aero, Head Extreme MP, or V-Core 100. So it's in this spin category. Has the following specs: 300 grams standard length, 68 RA stiffness on strung, 32 centimeter balance or 7 points headlight, 16-19 pattern, and 100 square inch head size. This one is a little bit more lively than the other one. The ball really catapults out of the string bed. I felt like the previous edition had a bit more control, and I'm not sure if I prefer that one. I feel like with the 100, I'm a little bit more into the old one. It feels more solid. It's easier to use because you get less swing weight. It's a 323, and I still felt like the ball wanted to kind of explode from the string bed. Really massive power, great spin, but I needed to adjust my swing and my game a little bit to be able to play with this. You need to really put some topspin or reduce your swing speed. In my mind, I felt like I had to slow down a bit for the ball not to really shoot out. But I don't use a massive topspin swing or a Western grip or something that generates massive topspin. So for my kind of semi-flat style, it's not the ideal racket, of course. But overall, I like the sensation when playing with it. I think it competes well with the Pure Aero, for example. But I would be a little bit apprehensive with the stiffness, if that might pop up later. I did like that the previous stiffness was a bit lower. It doesn't feel like a huge change, and you shouldn't look too much at RA stiffness ratings and numbers, but it's something I do notice that it is stiffer and it does create more power. But the swing weight is lower, which most players will like, so it will be easier to enjoy these new Essex rackets than the previous generation that had very high swing weights and were a little bit more difficult to swing and maneuver. Easy to play with, very lot of power and spin potential, not the easiest to control. I did struggle to control this at times. I did prefer the 98 for this reason, but that's a personal taste. If you want help, good height over the net, good power, and that's what you're looking for, then I definitely think you should check out the Essex 300. If you want a spin-oriented frame that gives you good power, but you want a little bit more control from the string, but the 98 square inch Tour is your friend in this case. Interesting update, positive, especially about the addition of the 98. Not sure whether I like this one more than the predecessor. That will time will tell, and I will create a full review when I'm done testing and giving these a full go. That's it for this one. I hope you found this review useful. If you do, please support me on Patreon, patreon.com/tennisnerd, where you get more content and you can ask questions and so on. You can also check out my affiliates, Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, and Tennis Only, and other affiliates in the description. If you use my links, I get a small commission at no extra cost to you. Please also subscribe to the channel. That helps a lot. That's all. Have a nice day, and don't forget to play some tennis.